We're on the air with Jenny's Real Talk on the Block and with our Dave Navarro and Gretchen Bonaduce. What's going on?
You guys are harder to get a hold of than Kiss FM.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
I'm so sorry.
I have called like 5 times in a row and finally got through.
I am so sorry.
Well, then that means lots of people are trying to call in, I hope.
All at the same time.
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, Dave, do you know who this is?
Raquel. I could recognize that voice.
Is this Raquel?
This is Raquel, Jen.
Is this Raquel?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
my
up?
God. What
It's
up,
been a minute,
Raquel?
Jennifer?
What up?
Jenny's Real Talk on the Block.
Our psychologist, you know. Are you a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
Actually, I'm neither. I'm a marriage and family therapist.
Ooh, I like that even better.
I've had to use you many, many times.
Nice.
And I hope you've had a good experience.
I have. You know, it's always helpful. And, sometimes it doesn't come out the way that people hope. Like sometimes people are going and hoping things will be saved. But sometimes you realize this is toxic for me and I should go. And, talking to a therapist like yourself, you realize that sometimes.
And I know you've been listening to the show, Raquel. So seeing or hearing what's been going on through Gretchen's life. I mean, what's your take?
Well, there's so much that actually resonates with me. I do like how, Gretchen, you referred to the fact that you did go to therapy and use that because some people may be ashamed of that or reluctant to try.
It's so helpful.
I would have to say that I admire that.
I think it's a really good thing that everyone should do, and especially when you're having issues, because it's just someone who's qualified to help you. I don't really like to talk to my friends about things because it's not a good idea. You know what I mean? Talking to people that aren't qualified to give you good advice. So I'd rather just see a therapist any day of the week.
And you were totally right about the toxic thing. Sometimes what I say is sometimes relationships don't work out, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
sometimes it's better for...
Sometimes it's better for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think in our case
really
it definitely was.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Been there, done that twice, and I can say with children involved, yes, sometimes it is better to
Sometimes you
walk
just
away.
gotta count your losses and just move forward.
I know my daughter's father and I are better parents because we got divorced because she lives with him now, and she and he's remarried, and they're very happy and they have a good environment for my daughter. And then so sometimes it is better. Maybe we get along way better not being together than we did when we were together. So we get along as friends, and we're very good parents for our daughter, and we're responsible, and we behave ourselves. We get along. So
yeah. Well, that was one of the things that really made me. I think it was the thing that made me go. Actually, I was watching Dr. Phil one day, and he said children would much rather be from a bad situation than in one. And I was like, oh my God, I'm keeping my kids in a bad situation. That's not good. And, it's, you're always weighing, do I want to make my children a product of divorce? Do I want to keep them in this situation where things are volatile, and finally you just have to decide, for me anyway, what was best for my children.
Mm-hmm. But I also loved hearing your story because people sometimes believe that, reality stars or even actresses, famous people, they're not real people, but you guys are, and you go through the same things that normal people go through, but it's publicized, or you have all these, extra influences that people don't realize that it weighs on you. It weighs on who you are and your relationship. And I guess the question that I would have for you is, how do you manage that with all the extra stresses that being in Hollywood brings, like you guys talked about? You talked about how it's competitive. People are mean and out to get you. Like, how do you cope with that? And because you're a human being,
Yeah. Well, I think you just have to really realize who your friends are, and you have to know your Hollywood friends are not your real friends. Like that's the one thing I have. I have real friends and I have Hollywood friends, and I don't mix up the two of them because you just have to know these people aren't necessarily after your best interest.
They're more acquaintances.
Yeah, they're not people. Yeah, they're more people that are trying to get something off of you,
One way
financially
or
or whatever. But your friends aren't that way.
No.
It's just always a balancing act. But I am so proud of our show. Like, I know it helped people. We got so much mail from women who are like, wow, you left and you were in the best situation financially, married to a famous guy, and you left, and that gave me the guts to do it. Those letters meant so much to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So, and it helped people that, we needed to go to rehab. And so it was just a really, in my opinion, it was a positive experience. I don't feel like the pressure of shooting a show ended our marriage. I think that was going to happen anyway. So I just got paid for it. So that was good.
That was funny. I heard that joke earlier. That was. And then the next question I have. So I as an American family therapist, I work with people for, on their self-esteem, on their self-confidence. And oftentimes a lot of kids that I see or teens who come into my office have been bullied or trolled or have received hate. And I know that happens a lot to people who are in the public eye.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible.
How do you handle that? Like, how do you keep your self-esteem about you through all of that?
I don't read it 100%. When we first started the show, VH1 told me at the time they just started doing the boards. Like, that was a new thing back in 2005, 2006, or at least maybe if they were doing it, it wasn't a big thing till around then is when it started to become where people were really commenting. And they said to me, do not read it. Just don't read it. And I'm like, it'll be funny. Oh my God. I was so traumatized by what people thought. So I just made a rule. I'm not going to read it. And that's really, because it doesn't matter. I feel like if you don't know me, your opinion doesn't count to me. I don't need to know what you think about me because you don't know me. So that is why I just don't read it, because
you can't.
No, the only people that can have an opinion about me are people that actually know me. Yes. Otherwise, I don't care about your opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's how I handle it.
Excellent. That's excellent advice from Gretchen Bonaduce. We'll take that and take it to heart.
Amen, Raquel.
Really good advice.
Well,
Amen, Raquel.
Hopefully you'll continue to listen to us, Raquel, every day, because you are awesome and you are a great family therapist. So hopefully we'll have you on the show as well.
Yeah, you should have her on.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a definite. I want her on at some point. Yes, that's.
But I do have to say that I am a great family therapist, but not a couples therapist, because most of my couples end up breaking up. So
there you go.
If you're coming to me for therapy, you're probably going to end up breaking up.
Oh, stop that! Stop that nonsense. You're fun. You're hilarious. That's a good.
Me personally.
Awesome.
Okay, that doesn't do good for your sales. Anyway, this has been the wonderful first hour of Jenny's Real Talk on the Block on LA Talk Radio Channel 1. You have been listening to Gretchen Bonaduce, former wife of Danny Bonaduce, and great singer, and she's been on all kinds of great TV shows and.